Hey HCISD, it's Dr. Rushka as a host for another HCISD Tech Talk. The purpose of our Tech Talks is to share instructional strategies, applications, and more in short virtual videos like this one. For this Tech Talk, I want to invite a very special guest, Miss Noelia Garza of Milam Elementary, to share how she's been using podcasts as a way for students to practice reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Miss Garza, thank you so much for sharing with us today. So tell me a little bit more about how you've been using podcasts in your classroom.
First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited, and I cannot wait to share with you what I've been doing in my classroom. My students, like you mentioned before, are really using podcasts as a way to incorporate reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So being that I'm a bilingual teacher, I knew that this would help my students with not only with their TOEFL scores, but also to speak clearly and to really be active listeners and to know how to carry on a meaningful conversation with their partner.
Run through the whole process with me in regards to like reading, listening, speaking. So they're reading an article.
Yes. We're reading an article, not just once, usually several times. And if I'm going to do a podcast, it's not going to be something I read one day, make the podcast the same day. No, we're reading an article, making sure we comprehend it, and having the students really dive deep into the learning process and understand what we're looking for and the comprehension questions that follow it. And then they have a storyboard that you'll receive as part of an attachment. And on the storyboard, I'll have questions and answers for them to follow because it's just like a drama. They have to have a script. We're not just going with the flow because, well, they're children.
Yes.
They're elementary students and they need to follow the script. So we practice the questions and then we practice the answers. And usually they practice several times before they are allowed to record. It's really interesting. They love it. They love to read articles now because they know they're going to see a nonfiction article. They are going to do a podcast. And usually in my examples here, I always start with my question would say, "Good morning, how are you? I've heard you are an expert on," and they're pretending that they're the expert on that specific article or whatever we're reading. Okay, well, let me go ahead and walk you through what my students do and the way we've learned how to create our little podcast in class. So we're going to go ahead and open GarageBand and we're going to create a song. We're going to choose our microphone. We're going to press OK. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to turn off your Metrometer. And then you see this little plus sign on the right hand corner. You got to go ahead and click on that and you're going to turn it to automatic. If you don't turn it to automatic, it's going to shut off in 8 measures or so. So once we're done doing that, we are going to press record. So here I am today with Dr. Rushka and my new friend Ralph learning how to create a podcast. Stop right there. Here I am today with Dr. Rushka and my new friend Ralph learning how to create a podcast. Let me stop it right there. And we're going to create, I'm calling these little bricks because it's a way for me to remember that we're going to layer sound over media. And after we do that, we're going to press the loop and we're going to look for our music because most students want to add some cool music before they're done with their podcast. I'm going to choose Delightful Jingle. I'm going to throw it in there. We're kind of going to scrunch it down here, minimize it to go to the beginning of our podcast. And I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it at the end as well. Sometimes you'll have students want both. They want 2 different songs or... So there we go. We have it right here in the beginning and right here in the end. So here I am today with Dr. Rushka and my new... So we're going to stop it right there. So what we want to do is make sure that it kind of fades out. So we're going to click right here in the middle where it says automation. When we automate it, we need to switch the edit on. And we're going to lower the volume so it can fade out a little bit. And then we're going to do the same thing at the end. So let's see if it fades out. So here I am today with Dr. Rushka and my new friend Ralph learning how to create a podcast. And the kids can kind of play with the automation there. Super simple. And the cool thing about GarageBand is that when you click done, go back, it's going to just save automatically. So what we need to also know is that when we're going to share it out, we have to share it out as a song. Share it out as a song, and you can send it to Seesaw. You can email it, save it, and it's there. You just created a song on a podcast. Super simple. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And my email is noeliagarza@hcisd.org, or you can follow me on Twitter at Neya78, Neya78.
Wow, what an amazing tool and method of teaching. Well, HCISD, take some time to practice with podcasting and let Noelia or myself know what you think. As always, please reach out to me with any feedback or questions at jessica.rushka@hcisd.org, or feel free to reach out to Noelia with any podcast questions. Thank you so much for tuning in, and keep on teching.